Hello guys, this is KaizShiro. Welcome back. So for our video today, we're going to cover the metagame report from Uncrowned King's local metagame report. This is a page run by me, KaizShiroYGO. So we will cover the metagame this May 2023 in the Philippines. So these are the local tournaments over the Philippines. So yeah, this is the article. Uncrowned King's local OCG Philippines metagame report of May 23 by KaizShiro. This article will cover 112 top performing decks in local tournaments from Kaido Willis Tabletop Community, Memorabilia YGO, Final Turn Hobby Shop Bacolod, Iloilo YGO Community, Davao Ranking Tournaments, Toy Shogun Local Tournament, Toy Hub Vista Mall Bataan Tournament, Bride and Gadget and Hobby Shop Local Tournament, Aroma Hobby Shop, and LU YGO Community in the span of May 1 to May 31 with applied April 2023 ban list. So these are the tournament references. We have Kaido Willis Tabletop Community, Premiership Local Ranking League, and then we have the Toy Hub Vista Mall Bataan, and then Aroma Hobby Shop, Final Turn, Bride and Gadget, shoutouts to Sir Raymond, Aroma Hobby Shop, Memorabilia YGO, and Toy Shogun Local Tournament, Iloilo YGO Major Tournament, then Dueling Bacolod YGO, and then LU, Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, then Davao, of course, Yu-Gi-Oh! Ranking Tournament. So yeah, these are the relevant tournaments that we covered on this article. You can just browse these tournament references, but we will proceed now to the analysis and breakthrough of the deck breakdown. At number 1, we have Purely with 11 representations, Kashtira with 7, 6 Kashtira and 1 Invoke Kashtira, very interesting. Then third, we have Matmech, 7 representations as well. Then Dinosaur, this is a very surprising one. We don't see this every day. Dinosaur is a spicy deck here. We have 3 Dinosaur, Standard Dino, then 3 Transcendrake Dinosaur with the new support from the Wild Survivors pack, and 1 Scrap Dino. Then 6 Runic, torn between Naturia Runic and 3 Runic with 3 apiece. So Runic is very diverse right now. We have combo players of Naturia and stand players from the pure Runic strategy. Then next we have 5 Dear Lemons and 5 Unchained, surprising as well. Unchained got their new support from Duelist Nexus that boost the deck into the competitive scene. Then 4 branded, 2 branded Despia Bestial, 1 branded and 1 branded Chimera. A new innovation as well with the Chimera archetype coming from Duelist Nexus. And then the good old budget deck, Trap Tricks with 4 representations. Then Vanquishol also, 2 Vanquishol, 1 Vanquishol Tri-Brigade, very spicy. Then 3 Altergeist, and then the Sentoki Sky Striker with 3, and Heroes with 3. Scareclaw, 3 different Scareclaw builds with 1 Scareclaw Kashtira Adventurer, 1 Scareclaw Manadium, and 1 Scareclaw Kashtira. And then 2 Super Heavy Samurai. Then 2 Rescue Ace, a very hot deck right now on the format. Rescue Ace is gaining tops right now on the format. Then 2 Pendulum Magician, the eventual Duelist Cup 2023 Philippines champion that is won by Pendulum Magician by Sir Alvin. Then 2 Tri-Brigade Lilarusk. Then 2 El-Lich never dies, I guess. Then 2 Fluandris, Empen, best card. And then Mikanko, 2 representations. Mikanko is actually good right now on the format. We have seen Mikanko top the Japan YCS tournament. Mikanko settled for a second place finish on that tournament. I guess they have 4,000 participants on that tournament. So that is no mean feat. Mikanko is a really good deck right now if we look carefully. Then 3 Labyrinth, 2 Unchained Labyrinth, 1 Labyrinth, pure Labyrinth. Okay, 2 Unchained Labyrinth, very unusual. Then Thunder Dragon Bestial, 2 representations. Then 2 Invoke Dogmatica, 2 Dynamorphia, 2 Cyber Dragon, 1 Chimera, 1 Sword Soul Tenyi, 1 Blackwing, 1 Dragon Link, 1 Synchron Adventurer. A very good deck as well. This deck won Thai Festival, if I'm correct. Then 1 Orcus Bestial, then 1 Metabit, 1 Phantom Knights, 1 Spiral, 1 Violence, and 1 Evil Eye, 1 Marincess, 1 ABC, 1 Machine Trains, and good gracious 1 Neos. Okay. Then analysis. Our analysis on purely. Sean went X1 on Decklists Tabletop Community Neo League. Day 18, last May 19, 2023. Using his purely that has notable main deck text like Path of Prosperity to bolster the consistency of the deck. So he used Path of Prosperity. I saw this innovation as well from Kukui Kosaka, the World Champion 2019. He uses Path of Prosperity as well on his purely deck list that he is posting on Twitter. Then, when going first and with the inclusion of Red Reboot on the main deck as well to answer the Matmech matchup, to cancel out the Matmech Super Factorial when going second. So, Red Reboot also saw resurgence on the main deck of many people right now to answer the Super Factorial. That is very prevalent right now due to the inclusion and domination of Matmech on the format. Then, Sean played without the field spell of Purely as it is not that impactful on many meta-relevant matchups according to him. Instead, he main deck more hand traps such as DD Crow that is good on many occasions this format. So yeah, I have seen this also on Japanese Purely players. They have dropped the field spell to be replaced by many hand traps like DD Crow, Droll, and sometimes Ash Blossom. So yeah. He also played Dimensional Fissure on side deck to address the graveyard-centric decks as well as the mirror matches. So, Floodgate option on Purely is a Dimensional Fissure as well. Very good. Then, Kashtira, we have Mindanao native MJ Anthony Agura. Shoutouts. Dominated the Decklists Premiership Remote Duel Local Ranking League last May 20 using the ever-popular Kashtira. If you are not familiar of Kashtira in the Philippines, Kashtira is one of the most popular decks right now in the Philippines. I guess players that brought Kashtira before are still coping with the deck. They are still using Kashtira up until this date. So yeah, Kashtira is pretty popular right now in the Philippines. And Agura, being undefeated on the tournament, opted to play Harpist Feather Duster and Lightning Storm on the main deck to manhandle the back row decks that is very prevalent on the Decklists deck representations. So we have a lot of back row players here on our locals, and also in the Philippines, back row decks are very common here. Then Agura only played 2 copies of Birth while maxing out the copies of Planet Pathfinder to have access on the field spell as much as possible. So yeah, he played triple Pathfinder. The common ratio of Pathfinder on Japanese decklist is only 2, but he played 3 to have access on the field. Then Lava Golem became his comfort going second card according to him due to the value of this card on mirror matches as well as the Vanquish Hole matchups that usually ends on 2 monsters on their field. So yeah, the Vanquish Hole matchup usually ends on 2 monsters with the Link monster and their random monster on the field. Can be anything because they need to recycle those monsters with their hand shenanigans using their monsters on the field. So yeah, they end up on 2 monsters. Lava Golem can definitely hurt Vanquish Hole and other decks like Mirror Match of Kashtira. Then Matmech, Zambales Stalwart Joshua Coriano finished strong as 4th place on Decklists Premiership Remote Duel Local Ranking League. So this is the same tournament, our ranking league last May 15 with the Matmech with main deck inclusions of Firewall Engine. So Firewall representations on the Matmech strategy, I guess on Cyberstorm Access release. Yeah, if I'm correct. That set released Firewall cards, and then to make his plays more consistent and elevate the ceiling of the deck. So yeah, adding the Firewall Engine makes the deck more explosive. He side decked 3 copies of XYZ Encore to address the Purely matchups, which is the arguable best deck of the format. So yeah, Purely is the best deck. That is no contest. Purely is the best deck right now. Encore proves as a great way to answer the indomitable boss monster of Purely in the form of Expurlinor. And then moving forward, we have the Spice now, the Dinosaur. Dinosaur is pretty popular as well on the Philippines. I guess many people love the Dinosaur archetype here in our country, and they still prove the deck to be worthy of competitive success. That's why Dinosaur is topping right now, especially with the inclusion and addition of the Transcendric archetype from the Wild Survivors, Dinosaur became more prevalent due to that factor. Then Jinrick Romero, shoutouts to my friend, proved to be the apex predator on Final Turn Hobby Shop Bacolod Weekly Tournament as he vanquished that competition using his signature dinosaur deck. So he's a dinosaur one-trick pony player for a very long time. He's the signature player here of the dinosaur in our community. Romero begged to differ from the recent trend of Transcendric inclusion on the Dino strategy by playing a more standard version of Dino, as he made room for Droll and Lockbird as well as Infinite Impermanence to have better chances when he goes second. So yeah, I get the logic of having Imperm and Droll. Imperm and Droll is very good against Purely and Super Heavy Samurai as well, and Kashtira. So those hand traps are really valuable on the meta deck variants and matchups right now in the format. So yeah, I commend this inclusion of Droll and Imperm on the main deck rather than the Transcendric cards. Then moving on, Runic. Glenberg Gabalfin overwhelmed his opponents last May 14 on Kaido Willis Premiership Remote Duel Local Ranking League. So this is the same league, our ranking league, with a more explosive version of Runic. So this is the Runic Naturia variant. So we are going to tackle this deck list that I am explaining here right now, later on. Gabalfin made some intriguing main deck choices by cutting out Maxi in favor of Gamma Shell the Sea Turtle Kaiju to answer Purely and Kashtira matchups. So yeah, Purely is the best deck and Kashtira is popular on the Philippines. So it is reasonable to play Gamma Shell on the main deck for me and for him as well. And a not so popular inclusion of Evenly Match on main deck to cater control decks matchup such as Runic Stun and Labyrinth. He also played Royal Decree to shut down trap based decks that is prevalent on the Philippines local scene. Then yeah, conclusion, Purely is on a commanding position to lead this format, taking up the most representations on this metagame report. So Purely is the best deck on this metagame report, while Kashtira, Runic, Matmech are proving to be the best decks with the most quality. So these are the quality decks that you can play on the format, while decks like Unchained and Traptrix are getting some recognitions and notable tops due to the affordability of them for budget competitive players. So yeah, Unchained Core is very cheap right now on our country. I don't know if that's the same on other countries, but Unchained is really cheap right now. The only expensive thing on Unchained is the extra deck, I guess, with the DDD cards that spike their prices lately, and the Zeus as well, because Zeus is very expensive right now. But yeah, Unchained is pretty much budget if you look carefully. And Traptrix as well, by just buying the 3 structure decks of Traptrix, you can get a very good, valuable and competitive deck at the very least. Then we're going to skim past this because I'm still not ending this video. This is the pie chart that we currently have. The Uncrowned Kings local metagame report. We have Purely at 10.8%. Then Matmech, Dinosaur, Kashtira with 6.9%. So they are tied with 7 representations. And then Runic with 6 representations. And 4.9% as well. Then others, you can literally see others have 52.9% of representation. So this is a very diverse format. Any deck can shine on this format for me. Any deck can literally win some notable tournaments and locals and games because this is a pretty balanced format right now. I hope it stays the same for quite some time because a lot of players are exhausted from the tier 0 format of tier lemons and widely power crept decks like full power Sprite and full power Kashtira. So this is a nice and refreshing time to see a balanced format. So yeah, this is the pie chart, and then this is the deck that I'm talking about earlier. This is the Purely of Sean. So as you can see, this is the main deck of him. Only 2 Dark World Discard Fathers and 1 Shaddal Beast and 1 Mudora. I guess Mudora is very good on mirror match as well. It can shuffle cards from the graveyard as well as Tearlaments is still heavily played right now on the Philippines. That's why Mudora can answer the Tearlaments matchup. And then he has Phantasmi because Matmech is very popular right now. Phantasmi is really good on the format. Then the intriguing 2 Path of Prosperity on the main deck. So yeah. And then moving forward, we have the Matmech from Joshua Coriano on our ranking league 4th place. So this is the Matmech with Firewall. This is the more explosive version of Matmech. In truth, then he has triple Small World, triple Signet Mining. Pretty standard to search the circular and other hand traps and Cyber's monsters on his disposal. Then 1 Link Spider on the side deck. Of course, if he got Nibiru on his turn, he can still Link Climb with the Link Spider to push for game. So yeah. And then we have the Kashtira from NJ Agura, the triple Pathfinder, and then quite unusual, no? 43 card main deck. Usually Kashtira are only on 40 to 41 only. 43 is quite extensive for a deck like this. Then yeah, he played also main deck Nibiru. It is also not usual on Kashtira because Nibiru may block the main monster zone for your Kashtira monsters. And yeah, the Light Force Sword on his side deck is a very spicy one. It can literally catch people off guard with this card. This is becoming a trend right now on Kashtira players on the Philippines. So yeah. And then moving on, we have the Dinosaur from Jinrick Romero on Final Turn Hobby Shop Weekly Tournament. So pretty standard Dino, 2 Ultimate Conductor, then 2 Scrap Raptor, 1 Scrap Chimera, and then double Peel. So double Animadorn only, Archosaur 2 only. And then pretty standard, the only notable one here is the Alpha Master of Beasts. I guess he used this to bounce the Winda on the Tearlaments player on Bacolod. He can use this to bounce the Winda. So yeah, this is the decklist of Jinrick. And then the decklist of Glenberg Gabalfin, the Natura Runic with no Maxi. Very bold from him. Without Maxi, he relies on Gamma Shell and Evenly Match as his going second cards to answer his opponent. But nonetheless, this is a pretty standard lineup of Runic lineup cards and Natura lineup cards. And then notable also that he played Royal Decree because we have a lot of trap decks. Even Dynamorphia is doing quite well on the Philippines. That's why you have to prepare against these trap decks. So yeah. Then moving on, we are going to tackle some of the interesting decklists on this metagame report. So see you in a bit, guys. So we are back, guys. So these are the promised decklists that we are going to ponder and look upon. These are the most interesting decklists that I have seen so far, and you can also see many decklists on our Uncrowned Kings Local Metagame Report Facebook page by just browsing and scrolling down. But for now, let's just focus on these decklists that I have presented. At first, we have the Cyber Dragon from Iloilo, I guess, if I'm remembering correctly. I have seen this Cyber Dragon list on Iloilo. I forgot the name of the player, but Cyber Dragon taps are not common nowadays. I guess the deck has lost some of their touch to answer the meta decks. I guess they are now relying on hard drawing Nibiru, Lightning Storm, Feather Duster, and other board breaker cards. But this is a good job for him, I guess. Cyber Dragon is definitely hard to tap on this format. This is a pretty standard deck list. The Clockwork is a very spicy one here. He can literally break boards using this card. And also Rasphere mode. I also like this Rasphere mode on the Cyber Dragon because he doesn't commit that much on normal summon. Cyber Dragon can special summon from the hand. So yeah, Sphere mode can be very devastating on many combo decks right now. such as Super Heavy Samurai and other combo decks like Adamantipator and Earth Good Stuff. So yeah, this is a very notable top for me, Cyber Dragon. And then moving on, we have the Matmech from Joshua Coriano, our Zambales native player on our Kaidulis community. So this is a pretty standard lineup of Matmech monsters and tech cards like the Spirit One, the Aratama and Sakitama. The hand traps are also linear and standard because I have like this type of deck list over the Firewall because I feel like this deck has much more utility and overall floor to have better matchup spread on the format. And then he plays the Cynet Conflict. I definitely like this Cynet Conflict inclusion on his side deck because he can protect his board from the Red Reboot and other cards that may suffer his shenanigans on the board, and 2 Solemn Scolding as well. Discard so Resurgence on the Matmech side deck because it can help them by acting like a Solemn Judgment but with less payment, life points, and more versatile type of Solemn card. So yeah, this is the Matmech of Joshua Coriano. And then next we have my Metabit deck list. So this is the list that I used to top the Kaidulis Neo League Day 18 tournament. So I have faced purely matchups there and vanquished all. I'm still figuring out how I won that particular tournament, but it is what it is. I have played Ashram of Right, if I'm correctly. This Pendulum monster, this helps me to draw 1, search for cards, and draw 4 card advantages. And then 2 Demise only because I don't have the 3rd copy of Demise, to be honest. I would have played the 3rd copy if I have the 3rd Demise, but right now I only have 2. So I just put this Demise at 2. Then 2 Shifter, even I have Morganite because Shifter is very useful right now in the format. It can literally shut down many decks like purely Telements and other graveyard centric decks. And I also opted Goes in Match, and there can be only one over Macrocosmos because I do feel like that Goes in Match and there can be only one hurts a lot more than the Macrocosmos right now in the format. Especially it can break boards as well. Goes in Match and there can be only one can break boards. Macrocosmos cannot break board. It can only stop the graveyard interactions, but it cannot break board. So this deck is quite weak on going second, and board breaking capability is underwhelming as well. That's why I opted the Goes in Match and there can be only one. And then the variety of Mirror Force as well, just to cheese out my opponents when they are attacking my Inspector border. And as you can see, I don't have extra deck because I am running the Pendulum Magician of Right. So I just use this Droll and Lockbird, Nibiru, and variety of Kaiju on my side deck to answer the meta relevant decks like Kashtira and Purely and Matmech, and then Lightning Storm over Raigeki because I do feel like that I may struggle on other back row decks that can hurt the trading advantages of this deck. So yeah, I played Lightning Storm over Raigeki and 1 Feather Duster, just a utility card to answer back row and anti-spell fragrance because Runic and Purely are very popular on the Philippines. Anti-spell is a very good card to slow down. Anti-spell cannot stop Purely and Runic, but it can slow them down. So yeah, I opted the anti-spell fragrance as my going first card on my side deck. And then moving forward, we have the Evil Eye from Jan Alfred Go with Revo Synchro on the main deck. This is a very spicy one for me. I have never seen this deck list before. On my browsing, I only seen this deck list from him. So this is quite an innovation from Jan Alfred Go of Bacolod. So he used the Revo Synchro to summon out Ancient Fairy Dragon, Rose Dragon, Omega, and then Barone. Can establish board from him, and I guess this is a good countermeasure to improve the going first capability of Evil Eye. And also he has Kashtira Fenrir and Unicorn, and the one tech card of Unchained Soul card here on his main deck. So I guess his going second is pretty much good as well, to be more precise, because I do feel like these cards are very good on going second with the Evil Eye. So he also played the tuning, so he wants to synchro summon for the most evident purposes. And then moving forward, we have the Rescue Ace from Iloilo. I guess this is from the Iloilo Yu-Gi-Oh! Major Tournament. I forgot the name of the player, but this is a top 4 decklist of Rescue Ace, I guess. I like the fact that he played the Fire Charmer and the Blaster on the side deck. I guess this can be very handful on certain occasions that he wants to go second. He can break boards with Blaster. He can search fire cards with the Fire Charmer. He also has the Goran on the main deck that is searchable by Small World. So this is a pretty neat and flexible deck list that can go first, that can go second. As we all know, Rescue Ace has a very good going first on their disposal. They can interrupt their opponents endlessly and set up multiple interruptions. Then the going first is the main issue of Rescue Ace for me, because I also plan to use this deck. I have the core and I have the cards that is needed to play the Rescue Ace. I'm just not playing it right now, but I can definitely see that this deck can quite struggle when going second. That's why I like the fact that he played the Blaster and the Goran and the Fire Charmer Searcher on his main deck. He doesn't play the Proxy Magician. Instead, he plays the Baguska and the Orcus to have more XYZ line of plays. So he played the IP Masquerena. I guess he doesn't have a Palooza, so he just goes into Nightmare Unicorn to interrupt his opponent, or maybe he ends on Sunlight Wolf at some cases. And then I really like the fact that he played Artifact Lancea, because this deck auto loses to evenly match. Rescue Ace can be heavily damaged by evenly match. That's why I like the Artifact Lancea. I can prevent the evenly match from the opposing players. And the goes in match as well. It can literally stun many decklists and meta decks right now on the format. So yeah, good job. And then we have the alter guys of MJ Agura. So he is also the pilot of the Kashtira 43 card main deck. I guess 43 cards is the magic number for him. That's why he kept on playing 43 cards. But I also like this inclusion of Gamma Shell, the Turtle Kaiju on the main deck, and Nibiru as well, because our locals are heavily plugged by Kashtira and Purely. So you can use the Gamma Shell Turtle Kaiju to out the Noir. And as we all have seen right now, Purely are dropping their field spell, so they don't have countermeasures on getting Kaiju or Kurikarad on their turn, on your turn. So yeah, I like this Gamma Shell, of course, and to evenly match. This is quite good inclusion as well, because alter guys may struggle on heavy boards and big boards. That's why evenly match is a good card here. And then 2 Solemn Judgment. I guess he wants to protect his protocol and setups of monsters on the field. So he opted to play Solemn Judgment on the main deck and 1 skill drain as well. I guess alter guys has enough attack points to beat down the opponent when things are going rough for them. You can just use skill drain to mitigate and control the tempo of the game. And his side deck is quite focused on going second only. He played Dark Ruler no more. He played Raigeki. He played Lightning Storm. We also have Vanquish Soul players on our community, so Raigeki is very good on Vanquish Soul, I guess. And then yeah, that's much about it. And then next we have the final deck list, I guess, on this featured deck list. We have the Eldritch from Haril Giuseppe from Bacolod. So this is a very stun version of Eldritch. As you can see, he has Border and he has Light Barrier Statue to stun the opponents. I like the inclusion and spice of Light Barrier Statue here. It can literally stun many opponents paired with Goes in Match and other power traps like Solemn Strike and Dogmatic Punishment, it can literally win the game from there, I guess. I just don't like the fact that he played Duality, but I guess it works for him. I will play Path of Prosperity over Duality in his case, but yeah, he probably knows better on this type of deck list. He also played Mirror Force. It can really surprise many players right now on the format, I guess. Especially monsters doesn't have destruction protection aside from the Kashtira matchup. That's why Mirror Force can screw them up. Especially they don't have floating effects. So yeah, these are the... Oh, we have more decklists here. We have the Mark Stephen Gonzalez purely decklist. He played the Bestial Druisworm and Magnumut on the main deck. I really like this inclusion from him because Matmech is very prevalent right now in the format. You can use the Bestial to out the Matmech Sigma to prevent them from playing the game. That's why I really like the Bestial inclusion on the main deck. He also played Didi Crow, so he doesn't want to lose to Matmech, as we can see. Then one Ash Blossom only. I guess this is only to cancel out Maxi. And he played Cross Out on the main deck. I guess he uses Cross Out to cancel out the Droll in Lockbird and Didi Crow that may hurt him moving forward. Then he plays also a Pointer and Summon Limit. I guess these are very solid choices from the deck list here. When going first, I guess Summon Limit and a Pointer can be very beneficial to him. And then moving forward, we have my Sky Striker decklist here. So these are only yesterday, May 31. I played this deck on our ranking league. I got first place using this Sky Striker decklist. I misplayed some part on my round 2, but I managed to top the tournament, luckily. This is a hand trap heavy version of Sky Striker. I didn't want to play Upstart Goblin on this list because I want my cards to be valuable going first or even going second. I want all of my cards in hand to do something when I'm playing the game. Unlike Upstart, I still have to draw something else with the Upstart. So yeah, I preferred to run the Veiler and the Ogre and the Didi Crow to answer the opponent and meta-relevant decks. And I also played only one Desires because I feel like I don't want to draw the second copy of Desires on the later stages of the game. So only one Desires and one multi-roll as well because I don't like drawing multi-roll, to be honest. I guess multi-roll is a card that should be searched on Sky Striker and should be used later on rather than using this card to go on your first turn or your second turn. So yeah, I feel like multi-roll is a card that is quite situational but very what do you call this, very valuable because this is multi-roll. It can literally overtake the game for Sky Striker, but I just see this on a different light right now when I'm trying this deck. And I also played Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike saved me a lot of times. Yesterday I placed a Tratrix player so he cannot proceed into Serra because I always Solemn Strike his first normal summon and effect monster. So yeah, there can be only one also is good to slow the tempo. And I preferred Lightning Storm over the Feather Duster because I think that Lightning Storm gives more coverage on the format rather than Feather Duster. So I have 2 Cosmic Cyclone to answer the runic matchups and other back row decks. So yeah. And then we have the Bestial Orcas from MJ Anthony Agura. So this is a 45 card main deck. Sorry, I assumed that 43 is the magic number for him. In this list, he plays 45 card on his Orcas with Bestial. So yeah, he faced Matmech on that particular tournament. That's why the value of Bestials on his decklist is off the charts. He can literally win the game from just drawing the Bestial monsters. And then I guess he plays the Branded Regained and the Bestial cards here to maximize the capability of these Orcas on banishing shenanigans And he also plays Chaos Space to have more draw power. And he plays Droplet. I also like this Droplet because Matmech can be easily affected by Droplet. Matmech ends on the Fluid Dragon and the Matmech XYZ that has a negation, so you can use Droplet to negate those monsters and you can win from there, I guess. Then 2 Kurikara, very good as well because we have a lot of Kashtira and purely Kurikara is a very good card to answer them. And then 2 Dimensional Barrier, and he also plays Twin Twister, no? He plays 1 Twin Twister on the main deck and 1 on the side deck, so he doesn't want to lose to any back row decks as well. And then we have the Dynamorphia of Jude. So this is a second place Dynamorphia from Jude. So personally, I like this decklist of Jude, not only on the ratio but for his work ethic that he puts into the game. I have seen his progress from being a Master Duel only player from before. He transitioned into the physical card game. So before, he doesn't top usually. He is playing subpar, but right now he is gaining tops right now on our locals. He is doing such a good job on piloting this Dynamorphia deck onto his status, and then this quite amusing decklist for me for that factor alone. But nonetheless, I like the fact that he played Droll and Lockbird on the main deck because Droll and Lockbird is a very good hand trap right now in the format. Probably the best hand trap on the format if we are putting aside Maxi and Ash Blossom. And his side deck is also filled with meta-relevant hand traps like Ogre and DD Crow. I also like this factor from him because Dynamorphia literally struggles because of the slow-paced tempo of this deck. So yeah, he can use the DD Crow and Ghost Ogre to choke out the meta-relevant opponents. And then next we have the Pendulum Magician from Bob Marzan of Zambales, I think is from Zambales. So he plays the Pendulum Magician in a similar fashion with the Alvin Rodriguez, I guess. Alvin, yeah, the champion of our Duelist Cup Philippines 2023. He played also Nibiru on the main deck. I guess Nibiru can literally catch off guard many people right now in the format. Especially we have a lot of Kashtira players. I guess that's the main reason why they opted to play Nibiru on the main deck on my assuming because Nibiru can stop the Kashtira. It can hurt the Kashtira. So yeah, Nibiru can be very valuable card on that fashion. And then next we have the Manadium Scareclaw from Mark Stephen Gonzalez. So I included this deck because of the potential that this deck have right now because the current lore of our Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG structures are based around the lore of the Scareclaw and Manadium right now in the format. So yeah, it will only get better by having more supports from the lore, and I pretty much think that this deck will rise to the top if they have the correct supports on the following sets. I think this deck is decent right now at best, but it can only get better moving forward. This deck is very good, to be honest, because it can dish out Apollousa, it can make negates with Barone, it can also play Natura Beast to stop purely, and the Scareclaw Tryhard can hold the game, and yeah, it can also push for game with the Celine and Axis Code and the Vicious Astraud. So this deck is very good as well, and I like his side deck ratio. He played the Bestials, Bestials for the Matmech, and then the Nibiru for the Kashtira, and the Gamma Shell for the Purely. So yeah, pretty concise decklist from him. So yeah, this is the last decklist for our featured decklist on this Metagame report of May 2023. So I hope you like this video and hit the subscribe button if you're not yet subscribed onto my YouTube channel, and hit the like if you like this kind of content, and hit the notification bell if you want to be updated with this type of contents. And then I guess see you on the next one. So peace out.